Hey everybody, it's Liz. Today I want to share with you my latest project, and yes, it is another Halloween project. I only have 2 weeks left to create Halloween, so, I'm definitely going to go all out. So anyways, I just want to share really quick some of the items that I used for my project, and then I'll bring out my project. Okay, so for the paper collection, I used an older collection by My Mind's Eye, and I believe, let me see, oh here it is. It's called Lost and Found Halloween. Okay, so it's an older collection, and it has, a lot of really cool vintage, like distressing going on, really cool muted colors, some glitter. This is just an extra. I purchased this orange glittery paper from my store, just from Joann's actually, to create a couple of the little die cuts, and I'll share that in just a second. But this is just really pretty paper from the My Mind's Eye Lost and Found Halloween collection, and like I said, it's an older collection, but I just really like the vintage feel of it and some of the glittery accents. So that's the collection I used. I only have the 12 by 12 sheets, so I used a few of them. And then I also used this stamp set here from Finnabar, and I used this stamp here. And I will share with you how I use this stamp. I used it with paint on my my project to create, just a little more interest on the sides of my project. Okay, so I used that stamp set. I also used lots of little Tim Holtz dies, of course. I used, let me see here, this one is the holly branch, and I actually just used this part here, which is like a branch, and I kind of like it because it gives it, see how it kind of looks like a hand a little bit, it's like this creepy branch, so it was perfect for my project. So I used that, and I used a couple of movers and shapers. I used the bat, I used the pumpkin, the scaredy cat, and the crow or raven, I think it's what it is. And then a couple of Spellbinders dies and a bunch of other little doodads, but I don't want to bring everything out because then it'd be a bunch of stuff. And then I also, actually I didn't use this, but this is this is the same collection, the My Mind's Eye Lost and Found Halloween, but I was inspired by this really cute banner here, and I created my own, and I will share that in just a second. Okay, so this piece, I wanted to do some altered letters, okay, so I thought that would be a really cute idea to have on like my table, like if you're going to have like a Halloween party or something. I thought it would be really cute. Okay, so I started off with these letters that I purchased from Michael's, just in their wood section, and really good size, they're really good size, and they're really thick and heavy, and these are, in their wood section, but I really like them. They're really cool. $4.99. Of course, you can use your coupon because it's $4.99 per letter, and of course, we all love to save. So I started off with the letters, and basically just says boo, right? It's really cute. But I wanted to create a story within the letters, okay? And my story is it's kind of silly, and of course it doesn't make sense because it's all in my head. But basically I have this, Mr. Skeleton that I've been using in my other projects, my last couple of Halloween projects. I wanted to incorporate him into my project and continue on with the story of his love for, his wonderful Mrs. Skeleton. And so basically he's a mad scientist, okay, and so he came up with a formula that'll let you live forever. So even after once, he's been drinking it, of course, because he's the test subject, so this is what he's become, a little skeleton here. But even after you die, he can give this to the deceased and bring them back to life. And that's what he wanted to do to bring back his wife. So that's the story that I created here. I know it's silly and it doesn't make any sense, but like I said, it's just my little storyline, because it's spooky and Halloween and all. So what I did with each letter, I incorporated the story within the letters. So here with the B, okay, take a look. It's basically his lab, okay? And now I'm going to share with you how I came up with, oops, what is that on my hand? Oh, piece of paper. Okay, so with each of the letters, I started off, of course, by painting all the sides that I knew were not going to get covered with paper, okay? And like I said, these are really thick, nice, and heavy. And I painted everything black that I knew wasn't going to get covered with paper, even the inside. And then what I did is I used that Finnabar stamp and some metallic paint, and I just lightly stamped on all of the edges to create this sort of like a stone texture. Do you see it? And with the paint, it's really cool because it's a metallic gunmetal paint. So it adds really cool texture and then just this really nice, sort of creepy effect, if you will. I like it. So that's what I did for each of the letters. Okay, and then with that same paint, I used a sponge dauber and I dabbed on all the edges of the paper or of the letter, just to bring out, you know, some of the metallic. Okay, you know what, I think the other letters are getting in the way. Let me move them, and then I'll go letter by letter, and then I tell you more about the story. How about that? Okay. So once I painted all of the sides that I knew weren't going to get covered with paper, I then adhered my paper to my letter, okay, using some Mod Podge. And I wanted some glitter, so I used some of the glittery paper from the Lost and Found collection. And I covered both sides of my letter, as you can see here. And like I said, I just dabbed some of that metallic paint on the edges, and I also went ahead and inked them all with the black soot, just to bring them out. And I wanted my letters to have some detail, but I didn't want them to be, you know, just fully like a ton of embellishments, because I wanted them to tell a story. So I still left them simple. Okay, so what I did here, I really liked these little openings here, so I thought this would be cool for the lab. Okay, so I started off by adding this little die cut piece here, this spider web, and these are from the Magnolia, I believe it's the Harvest Doohickey Club, and it's the spider web that I've been using a lot. So I just used some black cardstock, I cut it out, and then I adhered it to each of the little corners from the back. Okay, so you see that? So I've got the two spider webs. And then because this is his little lab, I wanted to give it the look of, you know, like a mad scientist lab. So I have these cute little books that I picked up at, you know, the I think Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but they're in the miniature section. And of course they're in like these really bright, cheery red and green, blue colors. So I had to grunge them up by using some black paint on them. And then as I painted it, I just dabbed the paint right off. So it just made them look like really dark and spooky. Okay. And then what I did is I just stacked the little books up, you know, by gluing them together. And I wanted to add this little skeleton head on top, or this little skull. And these are all from, you know, those little skeletons you pick up at the Dollar Tree. I just took, you know, his little head off, used some more black acrylic paint, and then put him on top of the book stack. And it's really creepy, but very cool. And then over here, that little itty bitty bottle, I just thought would be really cool. That is the formula right there that brings back the dead. Okay, and so of course it spilled because, you know, he was taking it and he realized it worked. He was all excited and he kind of just spilled some a little bit there. But this is a little itty bitty bottle that I grunged up again with some black acrylic paint, and then I mixed some Mod Podge and some green sprays that I had to create the formula on the inside. And you know, it's really hard to see, I know, because it's a little bit dark, but I have it. And it looks like it just spilled, you know, so you could see the little spill on there. So I just thought that was cute. And down here at the bottom, it's just another little compartment. Again, it's a mad scientist lab. So he's got his books, you know, all his, you know, medical books and science and all that stuff. And then his potions he's been working on. These were the first two that he created, but, you know, they were not successful. They created other things. So he's got the two little bottles here. And these are little Tim Holtz files. Again, I grunged them up, and I added these little Seven Gypsies labels to the front, and then, you know, added some black acrylic paint again to make them look dirty and grungy. And then inside each of the bottles is actually a formula, and it's really, really hard to see. I wish you guys could see. Maybe if I turn it around. But again, I just used Mod Podge and like several of my different paints, or you know, the sprays that I have, like Lindy's and stuff like that, to create it. So that one's like a really bright green, and then over there is like a bright orange. And they do move, so because it's not like it didn't, you know, because it's sealed shut, so it's still liquidy. So it's really cool. I like the way that's turned out. And then I have a little wishbone, the little Tim Holtz wishbone that I just added on there. So it's really cool. So this is his little lab, okay? And then he's got a couple of bats because, you know, somehow they got in and bats were flying all over the place. So I just added a few little bats to the letter, and then that's it. Like I said, I wanted them simple, but just enough little detail to give, you know, the story, to play along with the story, okay? So that is my bee. really cute. And then I wanted it to say boo. Okay, so then this is the second letter here. I'm sorry, it needs to focus. There we go. Okay, so here's the second letter. And I'm going to get that one out of the way. And this one is the one where he's just waiting. You know, he's already created the potion. He's already given it to her, but now he's waiting. And I decided to do this one in the middle. I just thought it was cute. But the same thing. I painted all the sides with black, and then I added, you know, that metallic paint with the stamp and everything, and it just looks really, really cool because it adds really cool detail. Okay, covered it with the pattern paper on both sides. Okay, super cool. And then this is the one where, you know, he's all dressed up. He's just waiting for her to come home. And I added a little bow tie. Do you see the little skeleton? How cute. And again, these little skeletons are from the Dollar Tree. And what I did is I bent, you know, his arms at the elbow. I bent his little legs. And he's actually supposed to be sitting cross-legged. So once I put the letter down, I'll be able to cross his little legs. But I grunged him up again with some more black acrylic paint. That little bow tie is just this cute little itty bitty punch bow that I have, and I added it there. I also gave him some googly eyes. I really like the way it looks. It just looks funny, you know, it looks silly to me. And then this is where I created that little banner that I told you I was inspired by the sticker sheet. And so I created these little banners out of my spellbinders and the glitter paper, a couple of alpha stamps, and it just says welcome. And I have it on some jute, piece of jute. So, you know, he's decorated up his place, made it all nice and pretty because he's just waiting for his love, you know, to come home. You know, she's dead, of course, but he brought her back to life. So she's going to be coming home any minute now. Then I've got a little Tim Holtz bat up here that I cut out of chipboard and then painted black. I distressed some of the edges a little bit. I don't know if you guys are able to see that detail, but it's on there. I just wanted to give it a distressed look. And then he's got his bouquet of roses, her favorite color, and I wrapped them up in some black tissue, and then I just have him holding them as he's sitting down, you know, waiting for her. And then he's accompanied by his little Frady cat, and this is just a little Tim Holtz scaredy cat that, again, is from chipboard, and I painted him black and just dressed him up, and then I have him popped up on some foam to give him some dimension. And then on this side I just have this cute little pumpkin. I just wanted to add another touch of glitter because I really like that pop of orange. So I made a pumpkin out of chipboard, and then I cut it out again using that glittery paper. I adhered it onto the pumpkin, and I used some embossing powder on the little stem of the pumpkin. I hope you can see that. And then I just inked the edges with some black soot again to give it that distressed and vintage feel. So this is the middle part. And again, he's just sitting around waiting for her because he knows she's coming home and he can't wait to see her. He's very, very excited. Okay, so that is the middle letter. And then the very last letter, which really should have been in the middle, but you know, I kind of go back and forth. This is the one, this is the graveyard scene. Okay. I think this one's my favorite because it's so creepy, you know. But in this one, this is where he has gone to the graveyard or the cemetery and has given the potion to her. And, you know, we can see her coming out of her grave. Do you see the hand? Creepy, I love it. And again, same technique. You know, just painted it black, added the metallic paint on all the sides with the stamp. Okay, covered it with the paper, some black soot on all my edges, and again some more metallic paint on all my edges just to give it a pop of color. Sorry about that. And then this is where I created a little graveyard scene. And so I started off with the little fence that you see in the background. And the little fences, again, those little, I like using these little cute little fences from Hobby Lobby. And they're in Christmas, so they've got them now. And I always stock up because I use them quite a bit. Oops, sorry, my leg got cramped, so I'm trying to move. So I use them quite a bit. And they're just wood, white picket fences, but of course I grunged it up using some black acrylic paint. Just, I brushed the acrylic paint on it, and then I took a wet paper towel and wiped it off. So it just left this really dingy look on the, you know, the white picket fence. So really like that. Here you can see where I used that branch, the holly branch die, and I cut it out of chipboard, and then I used embossing powder, the Distress Embossing Powder by Tim Holtz, and this is in the walnut stain. So after I inked up the chipboard with the same distress ink, then I added the embossing powder and heated up. and it just turns out really cool. I love using the distress embossing powder for the branches or anytime I do trees and stuff, because it gives it a really cool bark look. You know what I mean? It's very realistic. And so I have that, you know, adhered to the back. Now for this side, I did use a different piece of pattern paper, only because these are huge letters and I only had one sheet left of this particular paper, so I did not have enough to do the back. But it's okay. It still turned out awesome. And so there you see Mr. Raven or Crow. I don't know what kind of bird it is, but it's still creepy and perfect for Halloween. And again, he's cut out of chipboard, painted black, and distressed with some sanding, a sanding block, just on all the edges to give it a distressed look. Okay, and then here's my little graveyard scene. Super cute. That little tombstone is from, what's it called? You know, those little Halloween villages? Well, I got this last year. Right after Halloween, everything was like 90% off, so I picked up a little pack and I had like 4 little tombstones. Uh-oh, please excuse my dogs. Okay, so it's just this little tombstone that I garnished up again. I added some moss at the bottom, and then this is a little Dollar Tree skeleton hand just kind of coming out, you know, really creepy. And then because I wanted to add glitter, you see the little leaves? There's some little glittery leaves that I punched out from the glitter paper just to add to the moss, just for color. Really cute. I think it turned out really awesome. And then here's some more bats, again from the Tim Holtz Movers and Shapers die, and chipboard and black paint. So really cool. So basically the way this is going to be displayed is on my table, and I'm going to have kind of like, it'll be, let me see. It tells a story, you know, and that's what I really liked about it, but I wanted it to be, you know, so it's not in order. He's in the middle, just kind of waiting, and then, oops, you know what, let me go back some more. So it'll be displayed like this, and then I'm going to add, you know, like some little pumpkins and little things. So that's it, and I think it turned out so cute. I love all the little details. I especially love here, like his little lab. So it was really, really fun. And you know, this takes me a while because I work so many hours that I can only craft. I have such a limited amount of time to craft. So I have fun, you know, just making it here and there, a little bit here one day, a little bit the next day, and so forth. But just wanted to share. Halloween's right around the corner, you guys, and hopefully I've inspired you to create your own little centerpiece. I think this is cute, right? A little display. So hope you like it. Let me know what you think, and I will be seeing you real soon. Have a good one, everybody.